I made two mistakes. First one, I went thrifting today and like deep thrifting, and I have not thought to put on a face mask or take the allergy pill before I went, and I am extremely allergic to dust. By the time I left, like 3, 4 hours later, I was coughing like I have the case of what's it called? What's the Victorian version of pneumonia? Consumption. I consumption. I was coughing like I had consumption. Hello, hope you feel better soon. Thank you, Brenda. Brenda, did you finish the book for the club? I finished last night. I went to sleep at 2:30 because I was finishing the book and like things started going down and I was like, oh my god, I gotta finish. My second mistake that I made was that I forgot I need to start writing down on my calendar when games that I request keys for are due. And this one is due today, uh, by the end of the day. And yeah, so here we are. Otherwise, I wouldn't be streaming in this condition, but I really want to play this game, and I got a key for it, and I smudged my lipstick. So I'm going to try to keep the sniffles to the minimum, but I do apologize. And I will try to mute the mic when I do so. No, oh my god, I need to do that. Haha, I bought Thirsty Suitors today and started playing it. Oh my goodness! Yay! Oh wait, because it just left. Because it was on Game Pass. But I think it literally just left. So, yeah. No, I didn't. Well, you haven't streamed part 1 and part 2. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. Have you made it further than me in Thirsty Suitors yet? Um, why is it so weird? Oh no, it's right. Okay, so yeah, today we're playing Inhuman Resources, which is I mean, the name kind of says a lot of it about it. I'm gonna stick to that because I actually don't remember what the trailer was like. But yeah, I feel from what I remember, it's a lot like it's a narrative game. I feel like there's a lot of bunch of it's a many different endings, branching out story type of thing, and kind of like Severance in the way that like you eventually to find out that your upper management is up to no good. Not yet. I'm pretty much ended where you started yesterday. Damn! In the one day, Brenda, look at you. Finnegan Joyce. More like Dorker Strange. This is my identity. There are 3 deaths. The first is when the body ceases to function. The second is when the body is consigned to the grave. The third is that moment, sometime in the future, when your name is spoken for the last time. Don't bring her here. Don't bring her to me. See ya? Don't bring her on stream. So much we spend time with you. I know, but I am sneezing. See ya. Блядь, ты издеваешься надо мной? Didn't mute the mic also accidentally. Like I was telling Sia earlier, Sia's like keeps calling Mori to the table, to my table, and I'm like, Sia, do I need to be in a fucking coma for you to understand that I feel like shit? Happened. She's like, I understand, but I know what happened to me, and I'm not okay. You made that choice. I haven't thrifted properly in a very long time, okay? I didn't expect that reaction. No, I just don't want... I don't know what to do. I can't, not today. Today she's your daughter.
But you say it every day when I ask you to. Alright, sit in the box.
The fourth
Sit
is
and
when
watch.
the Reverend calls for a moment of silence right before you release a thunderous fart. Faker! Last person expected to make a fart joke. To be fair, I didn't have to talk and do stream stuff at the same time. Lol. Oh, fair. Hi Melt. How you doing? Also,
Pay attention. Just come here. Can you talk to her while I'm going to leave so she doesn't notice that I leave and she maybe forgets about my existence? She slept all day because you were not home, so she decided that the whole world can
you
stop.
could have wakened her up.
I did, and she was so grumpy when I did. She was like you. She was just sneeze and then lay down on the other side, and that's it. And now she's just, like, she slept. She's full of fucking energy, and somehow it's my problem that she's full of energy.
I guess I'll die. Lord, there's a making choice, and allergies sometimes are a lot. Look, I didn't expect. I haven't gone like really like rolling up your sleeves like full cart of shit for like many hours thrifting in a long time, and I didn't realize that I'm gonna have such a reaction. By the time like I was in the book section at the end, um I was like coughing so much that I thought people will think that I am sick around me. And I was like, no, I need to leave. I need to leave ASAP. I hate how bright this game is in my fucking face. It's not the game's fault. It's not the game's fault at all, but it is what it is. This is in favor of your BTW tone, isn't there? This is in favor of your by the way tone, isn't there? Huh? But at least I was thrifting with a goal because in at the end of the month, me and Sia are going to Vampire the Masquerade LARP, and I was like, shit, I need some appropriate clothing. And I think I found most of that today. Also, I found my favorite book in the thrift store is Rainbow Rowell's Carry On, and I was so happy, and it's like hardcover. I was so happy that genuinely made my day. I love that book so much. Um anyways, look at her. Look at the child. Not knowing what to do with herself. I wish I had her fucking problems. Anyway, the phone call. And of course she sits on that fucking drawer, metallic drawer, and of course it's gonna be squeaking the entire. She left. Okay. An all too familiar screeching reverberates inside your brain. The noise comes in waves, the pain follows suit. You try your best to ignore both, but the mere fact you've acknowledged the awful sound means it's already won. Like you deserve some time, no offense, Maury, but you need to have some time where you can breathe no matter how cute she is. Okay, gotcha. Thank you. Thank you. I do have finally an appointment with allergist tomorrow. So, if she will not drink water, so I can feed her food that is proper for my health, and I have to take care of her health instead. Seeing seeing an allergist tomorrow finally. So yeah, that's that. Also, please let me know how sound is. I know that I am. I hope you guys heard that. A couple of hours won't kill her. Oh, it won't, but it might kill Sia. Um, your phone's alarm is much too loud to ignore. Defeated, your eyelids peel apart like sheets of rotting Velcro, that's me every morning. Blinking back at bad nights, bleary haze. You lie in bed, awake against your consent. The room is almost pitch black, save for the intermittent flashing of your phone's screaming screen. A rancid of routine stench of unwashed bedsheets bids you a bittersweet good morning. You're home, for better or worse. Mostly the latter these days. Just once you wish you'd wake up somewhere else instead. Just once. You wish time would ask permission before racing ahead. But your phone doesn't care about what you want. It never does. The insufferable screeching drills deeper into your skull. You throw back your dirty blankets, blindly reaching for the misbegotten beast. Thank you. Pick up the phone. Hey. Oh. The slab of thumb-smudged plastic feels comfortable in your palm. Most call the device ancient, but to you it's cozy and familiar, like an old, if outdated friend. No oversized touchscreen, no fancy graphic cards for mobile games, no constant access to so-or-so G network. Just a simple tool with a cute antenna that still allows you time to disconnect. You've always appreciated the old and the analog, despite the wider world obsession with digitized progress. Ah, we're a hipster, I see. There's sincerity in physicality, a warmth to an object's weight. You cling to this relic as long as you can. Sensible upgrades be damned. I wouldn't use the words of sincere physicality when it comes to an old analog phone. But yeah, a flip phone at that. You fiddle with the phone, desperate to stop the alarm, but no matter which button you press, the shrieking will not end. That's because this isn't your alarm at all, it's your ringtone. Squinting in the darkness, you barely make out the caller ID. It's your aunt/landlady, technically speaking. Hopefully just your aunt today. The woman is exhausting enough when she isn't asking for rent payments, no matter how overdue they are. Still. Should you really ignore a call from the one person still willing to support you between jobs? There's a point. I say, pick up the phone. Static crackles as your obsolete cell phone struggles to connect. After a sharp click, you mumble a hesitant hello. Hey there, sweetie. Sorry for calling you out of blue. Hope I'm not interrupting lunch. The scratchly facsimile of her bombastically condescending voice greets you on the line other end. No mistaking your dear auntie. But what's this about lunch? 1:29. Yikes, even I don't wake up that late. You wince and make a half-baked lie, pretending to talk with your mouth full. Your aunt doesn't seem to buy it. Well, I'm sure you're very busy with job applications today, so I'll get straight to the point. Do you have any idea when you'll be able to send me last month's rent? I know money's been tight lately, but it's already the 31st. One missed payment is bad enough, but two? Shit, landlady it is. You feel yourself deflate, glancing to the tower of rejected job applications standing proud and precarious upon your messy desk. The top sheet almost grazes your modest apartment's ceiling. You have physical applications? That's interesting. Your aunt suggested to print each refusal, claiming they make your eventual hiring all the more rewarding. Explanation right away. My apologies. You found that harder and harder to believe ever since the letter started to outnumber the dollars in your bank account. Also, how was everybody's Sunday? Are you at work, Melt? I assume you are at work from what you said yesterday. Sweetie, do you have some kind of estimate for me? I would really need an answer today. everything is under control. You give your best impression of a confident salesman, laughing her worries away. Of course you'll get the money. You have tons of promising interviews lined up. One is bound to work out, and when it does, you'll have such a salary you'll be able to pay next 5 months in advance. Or something. You pause dramatically, awaiting for your aunt's amazed approval. All you get is her bitter disappointment. Sweetie, if this is how you behave during interviews, it's no wonder you haven't been hired yet. I can smell your lying from over here. Jesus Christ. God's no, thankfully. You already come home, or? Because I remember it was... gotcha. Hell yeah, home then. Honestly, I'd be more than willing to forgive delays if I knew you were actually trying, but you can't expect me to believe you've been pulling yourself up by the bootstraps and giving this job hunt all you've got, when you've been living in a pigsty for the past year. How are the two connected? The two are not connected. Actually, if he's living in a pigsty, the music hasn't had time. Pigsty? You deflect the woman's accusations, blabbering in desperate denial. But as your eyes drift over the sorry state of your apartment, your ramblings soon turn to tragic silence. Well, you've been immune to the stench for a few months, but no amount of time will ever make you blind to the altars of wretchedness your neglect has erected. On the floor, at your desk, in the kitchen, and even in your fridge. I can assure you they are connected. You're telling me like I haven't been unemployed. As a matter of fact, I'm still trying to get my unemployment payment from last year. Because they started issuing those on a prepaid card, and someone stole it before I could even receive it. And I've been trying to get from the bank the fucking money. So I'm like, I already paid taxes on this shit, might as well give me the fucking money. Pigsty or not, there's no denying that this whole unemployment business has been taking a serious toll. One that's gone on long enough for your aunt's pity to become well-deserved contempt. Well, what do you have to say for yourself? It's not your fault those stupid companies won't hire overqualified geniuses. Sheesh. Overconfident, more like... Excuse me, it happened too fast, I could not mute it. She's right, you're scum. Worse than scum. She should just evict you and get... Oh, feeling sorry for ourselves, aren't we? You're sick of pulling yourself up by the bootstraps. Can someone else pull them for you? Fine, let's feel sorry for ourselves. She's right, you're scum. Worse than that. She should just evict you and get it over with. You throw yourself into a dramatic tirade, detailing your utter lack of worth, the hopelessness of human existence, and the filthy trash, strawn ditch you deserve to die in, preferably alone. By the time your aunt gets a word in edgewise, your face is slick with tears and mucus, your heart tied into painful knots. Oh. Enough! I'm sorry, alright? I didn't mean to be so harsh. Now, calm down, please. Shit, that actually worked. It sounds like she's begging out of irritation than out of... Where's the... Hold on a second. Never mind. It just seems like the screen is like shifted to the side, and I'm like, I am covering up. Well, actually, wait. This is what I should do. I'm being silly. One sec. Hey. Time traveler. The time? Space. I don't know, man. There we go. This is much better. This layout. It sounds like she's begging out of irritation than out of worry for your well-being. But you listen nonetheless, taking time to control your breathing and wipe away a string of snot. Ew. The phone crackles with warbled noise as your aunt lets out a groan. Good grief, I know this mental health nonsense you keep talking about is a big deal, but you have got to get it together and take action somehow. You can't just keep using mood swings as an excuse to escape responsibility. That choice will get you nowhere. Girl. I have acquired clinical depression! Art imitates life! Yay! You brace yourself as the woman prepares to deliver her most frequent, most frustrating spiel. You could probably repeat it word for word if ever you were held at gunpoint. Remember, sweetie, in our world, choices matter. The big ones and the small ones. We can't always take those decisions back, and we can't control their consequences either. A very subtle notion that the choices I make in this game matter. Which means we have to choose carefully. You most certainly have not been doing that, but if you have any intention of getting yourself out of this mess, you need to start making the right decisions and soon. You mumble something noncommittal, rolling your eyes at the endless nagging. The woman may be able to smell dishonesty, but she's nose blind to her own bullshit. Anywho, enough of that. The real reason I'm calling is because I might have an opportunity for you. You should have started with that. What the fuck? You can tell by her inflection she means a job opportunity. Your reaction is practically Pavlovian. You salivate at the thought of your unrelenting financial woes finally coming to an end. You grip the cell phone tighter, aching with anticipation. See, there's this probable employee at our company. He works at one of the local branches right next to where you live. But the man has a terrible attitude and is even more terrible when it comes to, well, whatever it is you think we do over there. You picture her so limply waving a wrist in some vague dismissive pattern, more of the highly confidential stuff she can't share but brags about anyway. Not that you're entirely sure what your aunt actually does for a living to begin with. Something to do with human resources, maybe? Needless to say, we'll be laying off the little sourpuss as soon as fitting placement is found, but we need that replacement fast. Company has a big business deal coming up. We can't afford to be short on staff right now. Luckily, I happen to know a certain someone in dire need of a job, and this position happens to be entry level. No major qualifications needed. It even comes with a sterling letter of recommendation from yours truly. Now, this won't be an easy job. You know, I'm so conditioned by my years in film that I almost read, now this won't be a paid job. I'm not lying. That's legitimately what I'd first read. Even though it clearly doesn't say that. Supervisors are very strict and the anxiety has a way of following you home. But so long as you nail the interview, you're basically guaranteed stable income for as long as you need. Smyrna Corp isn't prone to random layoffs. So how about it, sweetie? Shall I reschedule something for you? Honestly, whatever this job is, not having random layoffs in this economy, bruh. Wow. Are you shitting me, bro? No. Are you insane? Have her set up an interview pronto. High stress environment or not, it beats homelessness by a country mile. You agree to the offer with a ravenous insistence. The woman breathes a sigh of relief and lets out a nervous laugh. It almost sounds like she is in ecstatic disbelief. Thank goodness, you have no idea what it means to hear you say that, dear. You're literally saving my life. You should probably be the one telling her that, but you won't complain about receiving gratitude instead of judgment for once. Without missing a beat, your aunt hammers at her computer's keyboard, drafting you an email. You clamber your way out of bed, tripping over day-old takeout and mounds of dirty underwear as you rush towards your laptop. Yikes. I've booked the earliest appointment I could possibly find. You should get an email with the time, address, and job description soon. Be sure to read everything carefully. because they always do. And do not be late, because I always do. Mr. Burgard will skin me alive if I send him another unpunctual idiot. Well, I'm unpunctual, not an idiot, but. Oh, and make sure not to mention that whole depression nonsense during the interview. It might make Mr. Burgard think he needs to fix you. Fix you? Rather than offer answers, your aunt whispers farewell. Good luck, sweetie. I hope you'll forgive me for this. Excuse me. I hope you'll forgive me for this someday. Forgive you for this some. What the fuck? The line goes deathly silent, save for a droning dial tone. You get an urge to call her back, but think of an invitation appearing to your inbox catches your attention first. Uh-oh. You interviewed today at 4 p.m. sharp, no less. Isn't it 1:20 right now? You curse under your breath, rushing to shower and get dressed. Your suck of rejection letters gets knocked over by your charge and scatter across the room with a whirlwind of standard issue responses. You you beg with every fiber of your being not to come home with a new failure to add onto the pile. Chapter complete. Proceed to the waiting room. Okay, so it's like fully narrative game. Okay. I really hope that my very stuffy nose is not stuffy voice is not a pain for this type of game. I truly do apologize. This was all very ill planned. The waiting room. The packed full city transit bus comes to a creaking stop right in front of an old building you've never seen before. Shoving your way past crowded commuters, you step onto an empty sidewalk. The vehicle roars away, fading into the misty afternoon and leaving you utterly alone. You briefly wonder if getting off here was a mistake. You review your aunt's documents, poring over the civic number, street name, and postal code as though every character were deciphered to come to some secret code. By the time you finish a third revision, you're forced to concede. This must be the right address, but it's not remotely what you expected. Nestled between two gleaming skyscrapers sits a much smaller, much stranger building. There is an unnerving facade, the decorative windows, the massive front gates, and the bronze door knocker. Oh, I can put, oh my god, unnerving facade. Glazed gray brickwork and pale vine marble unite to form a vast web of extravagant monochrome patterns. But despite all the details, the sum total gives off a sense of cold, calculated purpose, almost like an anarchic graffiti artist were hired to redesign a palliative care center. As you climb the front steps, a set of circular gold-tinted portholes stare down at you. They are unblinking, like the eyes of a giant deep sea squid. Ugh. The glass is too opaque to see through. Made from half-ton hunks and glistening cast iron, the double doors have been decorated with an intricate bas relief. Bass? Base? Bass. Of skyscrapers swimming in frog. Bit ironic for such a stout little edifice. The alloy been smelted in the shape of a crowned king's severed head. That's alarming. The object looks so realistic, you're scared it will warm and wet to the touch. Unfortunately, you see no keypads, handles, or ID scanners that would allow for easier entry. Okay, I'm just gonna... Sorry. It's just the interface of this game is too white to be on the bigger screen. I'm putting it on a smaller screen before my eyes bleed. Actually, come to think of it. Unless I have a massive glare, then I'm gonna have to. There's a glare. Not a massive one, but whatever. Fine. Suffer I shall. The consequences of my choices. Anxiety. The flashbacks from these brown screens to whites are insane. Me watching this game. I feel you, see. I am. This is why I moved it to the smaller screen because so that at least like my eyes. Yeah, it was a choice to make it all white like that. It was a choice. Let's just put it that way. It was a choice. The local branch of Smyrna Corp is only 4 stories tall, yet feels impossibly imposing. It's caught between outdated aesthetics and timeless sensibilities, somehow both outrageous yet invisibly subtle, as if meant to be forgotten at a passing glance and to haunt those whose gazes linger. You suspect you may be underdressed. What did you wear to an interview? Your clothes aren't filthy, of course. If anything, they're rather chic, or at least they used to be. Neither time nor depression have been kind to your apparel. For all the class your best outfit once had, overuse has worn it down to a discolored, threadbare husk. Meanwhile, lack of money, motivation, and belief you're worthy of nice things has prevented you from buying new clothes for the better part of 2 years. You've been unemployed for 2 years? No, that doesn't sound right. Regardless, when you, well, I love how my uh, custom cursor kind of matches the whole game. Regardless, what you've got will have to do. The hour of your interview approaches, and you won't have cash to afford a better outfit until this job is yours. Reach for the knocker and bang it against the door. The bronze object brooms against the iron gates even harder than your thumping heart. Moments later, something clicks and the latch comes undone. The doors groan themselves open, inviting you inside. Look deep into the building. You step into the building and are greeted by what seems to be a five-star hotel's reception area. The room is utterly massive, with high ceilings that would rival a Renaissance church cavernous belly. Its windows let no sunshine through, and no fluorescent light bulbs fill it with their pale glare. They're just low-hanging chandeliers and an array of green glass banker lamps bathing the room in burnt orange. I wish it was burnt orange on the screen right now. Upholstered sofas and coffee tables dot the space like islands, forming a winding path that leads to the room's distant depth. There's a woman standing behind a desk, flanked on each side by grillage elevators. The sharp machine gun clatter of her mechanical keyboard echoes across the room. You appreciate the old and analog, but Smirnoff Corp apparent fondness is downright ridiculous. Hopefully the receptionist won't feel the same way about your subpar outfit. Okay. Pretend to be confident, or adjust your crappy clothes and meekly approach. Pretend to be confident? What do you mean? With a little luck, it'll read as self-assurance instead of total fucking delusion. The dim lighting becomes dimmer the further you go, and thick shadows close on you like claustrophobic walls. You know, this makes me this makes me wish that the Spirit City Lo-Fi actually had a sound of typewriter. I would have loved to have that in the background while I work. Uh, but if I'm gonna put things on YouTube, why the fuck am I turning on the? No, I. One sec. Fucking allergies. Wall-to-wall carpeting squishes under your feet. An unfamiliar ammonia aroma assails your flared nostrils. Whatever they used to clean the place smells strong enough to double as a bioweapon. This is actually a tunnel to Rocky's home planet. For those who've read Project Hail Mary. But still isn't enough to erase the lingering stench of cigarette smoke. The off-putting odor does suit the outdated decor, however. Except for those unsettling sculptures carved into the room's concrete support floor, disturbing shapes that assail you from all sides, emerging from the shadows like pretentious interpretations of 21st century demons. Okay, on your left, headless nude bodies are contorted in pain as veins sprout through their skin like tree sprawling roots. Okay. On your right, a bleak rendition of what you assume to be Babel's Tower has been built out of steel girders, electric wiring, and bones. Up ahead, you see human skulls whose scalp have exploded, revealing interwoven helixes of DNA stranded binary code. What is this place? Excuse me? What happened to good old-fashioned gargoyles? Unsettled by your surroundings, your eyes drift back to the woman working the reception desk. There are letters engraved in the wall above her, spelling out a slogan in twinkling silver font. Memore perpetuitas mutatio. Memory something mutation? You don't know much about corporate branding, let alone Smirnokov's specific suite of services, but you're not sure how effective the cryptic slogan must be. You hoped your aunt's document would have provided insight. Instead, they were mostly full of vapid statements about connecting modern business with industry-leading talent, or some such variation of the standard corporate tripe. You wave hello to the receptionist, but she doesn't even flinch. Her gaze remains glazed over, wholly focused on her work. She's younger than you first thought, maybe 30, likely not quite. Sickly pale, with sleep-deprived bags under her eyes, each one darker than the acrylic of her tidy black turtleneck. Her hair is knotted into a dainty bun, her fingers devoid of polish or rings. They move across the keyboard like a demented tap dancer. Wait, no, not her keyboard. Her typewriter. It's a really, really old one, made from brass, black plastic, and way too many moving parts. A relic from the 1800s that looks like barely scraped through both world wars. And you thought your laptop was getting old. There's also a small desk bell glimmering on the counter. Maybe you should... She's a secretary, not a Victorian era maid. Ring it. It's a bell, come on. A pleasant ding resounds like clinking champagne glasses. The woman's head snaps forward as though struck by an electric shock. She flashes you a beaming, not quite pearl white
あなた置
smile.
き
Oh, Jesus Christ. Welcome! Welcome to Smirnikov. Do you have an appointment? The words barely seep through. Why is she wearing a headset piece if she's on a typewriter? This is a big leap in technology from one of those things. The words barely seep through the woman's gritted teeth. Her grin is so tight it hurts to watch. But there's no trace of frustration. She's the dictionary definition of too friendly, made uncomfortably manifest. Unsettled, you stumble your way through an explanation of your aunt's referral. The receptionist replies with a nod, squinting as she reads the writing on her typewriter's latest sheet.
こちょばそうだ
Ah, of course, we've been waiting for you. I'm afraid Mr. Burgard is running a little late this afternoon. He'll need a few more minutes until he's ready to speak with you. But you're more than welcome to peruse our visitor's handbook while waiting. She gestures to a set of nearby couches and a table chock full of company pamphlets. But you're more surprised to notice someone else already sitting here. A young man with a bitter look etched into his furrowed face. Could this be another applicant for the job? Shit. Your aunt never mentioned the competition. And if they turn out to be competent, you could be in big trouble. Your bleak musings are cut short by the receptionist's unbeaten nails tapping at her name
パーソ
tag.
はごめん
I'm Milanese, but Milazine. Milazine? I'm Milazine, but is this a French game? No. I just love how little information there usually is on Steam about developers of games. You love to see it. And by little, I mean zero. Well. Oh, it is! It is a French game. How do I know? When I look at the languages part of Steam, there's only two languages, English and French. Is it Belgium? I'm not good at it. Canada? Ah. Yeah, full English and French localization available. Okay, yeah, makes sense. By the way, if you want to look up the game on Steam, exclamation point V game, there will be a link to the Steam page. I'm Milazine, by the way. I'll call you as soon as Mr. Brigard becomes available. In the meantime, please let me know if you have any questions. With a grateful, albeit embarrassed nod, you walk away and slump into an old-fashioned sofa. Meluzine's rickety typewriter clacking away once more. The couch's cushion feels quite stiff, or maybe your stress-clenched back does? Considering the ferocious stare down you're receiving from the stranger seated across you, it could well be the latter. The steady tick of the clock draws your gaze. Its hands point in opposite directions. 3:42, 18 minutes left. Good thing you came early. Never happened to me before. You still have time to prepare before your interview, but probably not enough to do everything you want. You'll have to decide where to spend it carefully. Oh boy, okay. Okay, read through pamphlets. Millie said she could answer a few questions. Strike up a conversation with the man. There's a magazine on the coffee table. Okay, let's read about Smirnikov. You snatch a brochure that seems to cover the most interesting topics, hoping it'll contain some hints about your future 9 to 5. Look at it. Your guide towards success in a post-truth world. Post-truth world? Founded in the year redacted by psychotherapist Gertrude Birdie, What began as a non-profit humane society quickly evolved into a multinational conglomerate with over redacted employees. Today, Smirnakov is everywhere. We work for your local governments, your most prestigious universities, the telecommunication services you use to keep in touch with loved ones, everything we do to protect our most precious resources, people like you. Smirnakov is dedicated. You've never heard post truth? No, I've never heard post truth. Is that a thing? Okay, yeah, it just okay, yeah. um, Smyrna Corp is thank you. Smyrna Corp is dedicated to providing custom human resources and recruitment solutions for businesses of all sizes. Using our revolutionary evaluation process, we assign the person who's right for you, the right time and the right place, guaranteed every time. What are you waiting for? Embrace the change today. It sounds like they're the people behind those stupid quizzes that you see on Indeed. You know what I mean? You're mildly disgusted by the amount of insipid buzzwords featured on each page. The whole thing reeks of hyperbole with a lesser whiff of self-congratulation, but at least it was somewhat informative. Plus, this company seems way more prestigious than you expect. The salaries must be pretty decent. 3:51. You still have a few minutes left. Maybe enough to extract information from one of the other people in the room. Okay, guys, what do you say? Do we talk to Melusine or the irritated man in front of us? I'm not feeling up to it to make an actual voting thingy in the chat, but please feel free to express your feelings on the matter. Roll a dice. I don't have a dice next to me. Where are my dice, actually? I think they're over there in the drawer. That's too far away. I want to roll a dice. I want to hear the people. I want to hear the voice of the people. Or I can roll a dice. Any moment now. Magazine because I'm an introvert. No, that wasn't one of the... Brenda! I said talk to the woman or the man. And he said read a magazine. Come on. I would also read a magazine, but you know, this is a video game version of us. It's more outgoing. More productive. Fine, let's talk to the girl. Okay. Thank you. Melusine. Despite her extreme fatigue and even extremer stress levels, the woman definitely seemed eager to lend a hand. And what better way is there to learn about your new workplace than to ask the person paid to greet visitors? You're... You return to the reception desk with an awkward wave, embarrassing to be disrupting the receptionist's work so soon after leaving. Yet, rather than appear annoyed, the woman who looks up from the typewriter with a sigh of relief, the air seeping through her vice-tight teeth with a shrill tea kettle whistle. Oh, hello again. I take you have a few questions for me. As disclaimer, please be advised that Smyrna Corp staff cannot disclose any confidential information to members of the public. Therefore, while I'll respond to your questions to the best of my ability, there may be certain details I'm forbidden to discuss. Thank you in advance for understanding. The uneasy first impression Melusine gave you worsens with every word she speaks, and not just because she keeps talking without blinking her bloodshot eyes or unclenching her goddamn jaw. Even though the receptionist's response seems professional, her tone is perfectly jovial. Something about her speech patterns feels rigidly urgent. Almost like she's reading the words of a script with a gun pressed to the back of her head, not thanking you for understanding, but begging you to. Is she scared of getting in some trouble by letting something sensitive slip? Or is she trying to secretly warn you about the office working conditions?
Anapaoki?
So, what would you like to know? Uh, Squeeze out advice for the interview. Ask what line of work they do. Uh, Advice for the interview. It's not like you want to land Melusine in hot water, but you've flopped too many job opportunities by playing nice. Eat every edge you can get to earn a steady paycheck. Playing coy, smiling broadly, you ask if she has any tips to make a positive first impression in the upcoming meeting. The woman looks startled by her question, her grin tightening even more as she mulls over her response. You suddenly realize her teeth are strangely flat, as though worn down by years of
Mita
grinding.
Gamoko.
Well, the best advice I have for any candidate is just to be yourself. Smartico prides itself on diversity of creeds, cultures, and ideas combining to form its rich, thriving workforce. But, according to Mr. Burgard, he's a man who, highly values those capable of following rules. Our work involves a lot of private information and non-disclosure agreements, you see. It's very, very important that you respect any directives he gives you and answer all his questions honestly. Not exactly a riveting revelation. You gently urge Melusine to tell you more, hinting at just how life changing this job could be for you. It doesn't take much exaggeration to embellish the truth. At first, the receptionist remains unfazed by your blubbering pleas, but then her tense expression softens, revealing an unexpected melancholy.
Imo
Oh shit, she's not smiling. What kind of world would you rather live in? A utopia where no one is allowed to be different, or a dystopia where people can remain unique? Dystopia. A world where no one can be themselves sounds like a real dystopia. Utopias are inherently impossible. Perfection for one person often excludes the ideals or identities of others, sometimes even entailing the erasure of cultures and creeds based solely upon difference. For all the messiness it entails, a richer breadth of people and perspectives can only make for the better world. For a brief moment, you see Melusine's tight smile waver, her tired eyes suddenly twinkling with pleasant surprise. Even her voice loses its formal stiffness as she speaks with a comforted sigh.
Hanami
Yeah, I think the world would be a better place if more people thought that way too. You wonder if this is what saying science really looks like when her happiness is genuine. Oh, that's her last name, right? But you do not get the chance to wonder for long. As quickly as it vanished, the forced smile returns. The receptionist's insomnia darkened eyelids flutter, blinking away her own unexpected vulnerability. Her teeth grind together, scared that she shared something that could land her in trouble.
Bulipowa.
Sorry about that. Seems my mind's been wandering from lack of sleep. I've had long work shifts lately. Now, while I share your opinion, I think you should refrain from voicing such problematic interpretations of human society to Mr. Burgard. He highly values doing things by the book, you see, so be sure to remain as conservative and considerable as possible during his post-interview evaluation. Uh-oh, evaluation? Your aunt didn't tell you to prepare for anything like that. Panic must be plainly written on your face because the receptionist is quick to hush you the same way one was skitched first.
Mitagamoko.
No need to be afraid. The fact you're here to begin with means there's practically no way you could actually fail the exam. Just try to please Mr. Burgard and everything should be just fine.
Anapaoki.
But if I can give one word of warning, be very careful with your answers. The questions you're given might seem fairly pointless at first, but there's consequences are very real. Depending on what you say, innocent people could.
Kudo Mijaji.
Now, spoiling the surprise, Miss Saint Sales. A booming voice rumbles across the reception room, and Melusine stiffens as though struck by lightning. Clenching her smile tighter than ever, her heels click together like a soldier awaiting inspection. Another click is heard behind you, as the angry stranger on the couch stiffens the same way. Their reaction makes no sense until you turn to face the voice, and then you two go rigid with awestruck shock. Standing in front of the elevator is, without exaggeration, the most massive man you've ever seen. He's taller than a fridge, twice as wide, and perhaps twice as heavy. How dare you assume? The pure white of his immaculate dentistry contrasts with his dark skin, which reflects the room's dim light like finely chiseled onyx. Beneath the perfectly tailored patterns on his elegant tweed suit, muscles shift with every breath, threatening to burst through the seams. His pale blue eyes focus on you as he speaks with a voice like velvet thunder.
Notice Amini.
Yeah, I'm totally capable of velvet thunder voice right now. My humble apologies for interrupting your enthralling conversation, friend. Our dear Melusine is sometimes a little careless when it comes to discussing confidentiality company matters. But I'll gladly sate your curiosity in her stead during our interview. Interview, huh? This must be Mr. Burgard, your soon-to-be boss, luck willing. The ding of an elevator is suddenly heard, and one of the grillage doors by the reception desk creaks open. The tweed behemoth settles his way into the shaft, packed tighter than a tuna in too small can. He beckons you to join him with a bratwurst thick finger.
Oh, me baden.
Come along now, we're already behind schedule. I can't afford any more delays. What's more, I frankly cannot wait to discuss your future with us here at Smirnocorp. Holy shit, he thinks you have a future. I mean, that's a good sign, right? Right? In that moment, Mr. Burgard's big beaming smile is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. Thank him, and slip into the elevator. It's a tight fit, but you manage to wriggle yourself into the lift by nuzzling up to your hopefully future boss. You apologize profusely for the cramped conditions, but he just laughs it
Notice
off.
Amini.
No need to be embarrassed. Happens all the time. Oh, and no need to call me Mr. Burgard. All this Mr. Burgard business either. First name basis is fine by me. Before the elevator door can slam shut, someone opens their mouth and screams. Obuya, wait! The angry-looking man you were worrying about suddenly drops to his knees, hands held together in prayer. Any aura of danger that once clung to him has been dispelled by his blubbering supplication. Sir, I'm begging you, just give me another chance. I swear I'll do anything. Unpaid overtime. I'll work on weekends. I'll kiss your goddamn shoes if I have to. Just please don't replace me. Mr. Burgard's only reply is a disappointed sigh. His bright white smile wavers, and tangible contempt taints his otherwise welcoming tone.
Borne calle.
Mr. Aguilar, you've had more second chances than I can count, and displaying such undignified desperation in front of a candidate set to take your position is not an endearing choice. Frankly, there's nothing more I can or want to do for you beyond offering the standard company-issued severance package. He said the word. He said the word. Oh shit. This is the problem employee your aunt was talking about. The lamb being brought to the slaughter. Also, you can survive on the paycheck they used to have. Part of you feels guilty considering how desperate the stranger seems but about being laid off. But another part is grateful that your predecessor seems to be such a mess. Or maybe getting hired here will be easier than you first thought. Either way, Mr. Bergar's voice have the effect of an ice pick through the heart. The once intimidating stranger collapses as though shot in the chest. His body ripples with hiccuping wails, his fist powerlessly pounding in the carpet floor. Can someone trigger Astarion saying embarrassing? Wait, do I have that? I believe I have that. If I have that, please trigger it. Thank you.
It's rather embarrassing, dear.
Truer words have never been spoken. Your maybe future boss clicks his tongue, more disappointment than disturbed. He turns to give Melusine a firm look and firmer orders. Miss Saint Science, please ensure our former staffer behaves until offboarding is complete. Will you? I'll attend to him once I'm done with our guest. Yeah, it does. You cannot hear it? It's very quiet in the background. I'll make it louder. The tired woman gives a nervous nod, rushing back to her typewriter as if nothing happened. The clanking keys are now punctuated by the tears of grown man. Abuya thumbs a few buttons and the elevator doors finally slide shut. Through cracks on the grillage gates, you see the receptionist give you a small wave, mouthing a worrisome farewell. Good luck! You know what's the face she gives? Of Raja during her original season on Drag Race Snatch Game when she was doing Tyra smizing and she had like blood coming out of her eyes. Before you can decide whether she was cheering you on or trying to warn you, the floor launches toward the interview! Okay, there, can you hear this music? Yeah, me too. I'll make it louder. After descending a short way, the elevator slows to a crawl that comes to a complete stop, groaning under the combined mass of its unevenly weighted passengers. For a moment, something so demure about this music. You worry the cables have jammed. Clearing his throat, Mr. Bergard reaches over your shoulder and points to the lift's control panel. Would you do me the honor of entering our meeting room access password? If you're going to be working here, you may as well learn how to travel across the office. Just type whatever the fuck this is, if you please. Oh, and no need to be too brusque about it. Precision matters more than speed with these old doodads. Okay. So, like a weird and sign, a gate, a scepter, and a O cross. Okay. The interviewer chuckles as you watch as you fiddle with the electric... Excuse me, that's a simoleon symbol. Which one of them? There are 4 symbols and you're like, excuse me, that's a simoleon symbol. Okay. Oh, you mean sim money? What's this one? This one seems very familiar. I feel like it's a sign. Oh no, not diagonal. This is a focal point, no? No, it's like that. I believe. But yeah. The interviewer chuckles as you watch as you fiddle with the eclectic symbols, amused by your apparent unfamiliarity. No doubt he's used the into employees entering these combinations with the routine deafness of jaded shoppers typing in their PIN numbers during credit card transactions. You're still not sure why he's making you type the password in, nor why the elevator uses password in the first place. Wouldn't keycards be easier, or normal numbers at least? Regardless, as the last button clicks into place, the elevator resumes its descent at an increased momentum, plunging deep into the earth with no sign of stopping. After almost 20 seconds, you wonder if it is headed for the planet's core.
Gawona Kimo.
You'll have to beg my pardon for the sluggishness. I've petitioned to have this thing replaced, but the encryptology department refuses to let us invest in newer models. Potential security risks are solely claimed. Boogeyman hogwash, I say. An upgrade has been long overdue. Maybe once our deal with Radium finally goes through, there'll be a more welcoming of true progress, eh? You nod along, politely pretending to understand what he means. You're unsure the display looks convincing. Still, by the sounds of it, you'll be stuck here for a while. How do you kill time? If Buttons closer look, ask Abuya to explain his employee's unusual behavior. Get those elevator buttons closer look. Squinting at the control panel, you try making sense of the assorted icons decorating each key, trying to intuit the twisted logic linking them together. There must be some rationale in forming the design of these peculiar passcodes. Well, this is a familiar sign. I don't remember. I think it's like something in physics? That's Omega. What are the scissors? Oh, I cannot click on it. That's alpha? No? Lowercase alpha? Unfortunately, the longer you look, the less you understand. What the pi... Oh, wait, that was... Oh, this is pi? That I call the open gate? Oh, fucking no. The pi symbol and the Greek omega have to do with any of those scribbles you've never seen before. The bout of mental gymnastics required to even attempt drawing a clear pattern leaves you with a nagging headache. At least you remember the password for Abuya gave you. Yeah, sure, I'll try to remember. In the end, you're so focused on decoding the secret behind Smirnocorp's buttons that you startled by Burgard.
Baden.
I hope you are as excited for this interview as I am, friend. At the risk of sounding biased, I have very high expectations for you. Okay, can I just say that the most sus thing is just how welcoming and eager he is at the very beginning of the hiring? Or maybe not. I mean, I guess there's always like... Not always, but... No, I mean... They don't walk you around the facility on the interview, going down, yelling timber, yes, Baker. Like... It's like he's already hired him, and I'm like, you've never met me before, and that's troublesome.
Ajobonica.
The woman that recommended you for this position, your aunt, I believe, she had nothing but great things to say. Yeah, of course.
Notice Amini.
She wants a rent. She assured me you were an extremely positive person with a permanent can-do attitude and exceptional emotional resilience, and that's exactly the kind of person we need more of here. I was triggered by 2 words here, and I don't like it. Your answer, the Giants compliment with an awkward chuckle. Internally, however, you are screaming. You knew your aunt was bound to lie in order to guarantee you an interview, but she could have picked something more fitting for a clinically depressed shut-in who can't afford their own prescription. As you force yourself to smile through an impending panic attack, the elevator comes to a grinding halt, the grillage doors sliding open. Squeeze your way out of here. In a bit of a battle to wrangle past Abuya, though you soon find yourself free of the claustrophobic lift and breathing a bit easier. Mr. Burgard follows suit. flipping a light switch to illuminate the otherwise pitch black room.
Kudomijaji.
Welcome to my humble office. Ah, so that's what this place is. An office wouldn't have been your first guess. The rectangular space before you is reminiscent of an oversized police interrogation room. The walls are painted glossy black, glistening in the sepia glow of a low hanging ceiling lamp. As if it weren't for the obvious two-way mirror in the back, the room would appear infinite in size. A boundless expanse of inky shadow extending in every direction. A single desk sits at the room's center, made from a block of carved mahogany. That's mahogany! If you understand this. I don't know what this. I'm not feeling well, okay? Got me safe paperwork covers the surface like some madman's wallpaper, and countless colored wires sprawl across the floor as though the varnished wood had somehow sprung electric roots. Leather chairs fitted to dwarf royal thrones loom over. Sorry, I just. Ow. I just snapped my thumb. Not snap. What's it called when you're like crack? I just cracked my thumb painfully. Not on purpose. Sorry, 1 second. I'll forget if I don't do this right now. Leather chairs fit to dwarf royal thrones loom over both ends of the table, no doubt custom built to accommodate Mr. Burgard's colossal frame. The behemoth briskly motions for you to take a seat, but you sink so far into the plush leather it feels more like the seat takes you. Prying yourself out of the comfortable depth, your eyes turn to the sparse assortment of unusual baubles decorating the table corners. On the side, there's an antique candlestick phone whose mouthpiece is made to look like a large roosting bat. Can I have that? On the other side, there's an old-fashioned record player adorned with a gaudy gilded Smear the Corp logo. Right in front of you, there's a nameplate engraved with the words Abuya Burgard, Senior Substitution Department Supervisor. And scattered all over the place are the piles of VHS cassettes, each one labeled with tags written in Latin, Farsi, and Ancient Greek. The item which perplexes you the most, however, is an old vinyl record, snugly wrapped in yellow keep out tape. Mr. Burgard notes your interest in the muse arch of his brow.
Gawona Kimo.
You wouldn't happen to be a fan of jazz, would you? Absolutely, I love jazz. Abuya's smile can't grow no bigger, but it certainly shines brighter upon hearing your enthusiastic answer.
Notisamini.
Well then, I'm quite excited to find out what a fellow connoisseur will think of this particular gem. I'm scared. Carefully placing the confidential vinyl onto an old record player, Mr. Burgard lowers the needle and bids you to listen. A strange, somber soundscape slowly fills the office, with a blues-inspired rhythm you can't quite compare to anything you've heard before. It's not appalling per se, but it's perhaps a little messy and eerie enough to make you uncomfortable. The duet voices of a man and a woman muttering warbled lyrics only adds to the strangeness. So FYI, like the background music right now is incredibly quiet for me as well. Can I do something about it? Oh, it's to the max. Well, guess no. You can make out a word. You can't make out a word they're saying, except for the chorus verse. Let's call the whole thing off.
Notisamini.
Gina and Herschel Gershwin, twins if you were wondering. not a couple, despite all turbulent rumors that once surrounded their odd relationship. I've never met them myself, but I do know they could have been bigger than the Beatles back in the band's heyday. The biggest case of my career was making sure they wouldn't be. And I always found it tragic that only one of their records was left intact in the world, though I also feel quite lucky to be the man who owns it. Femme will ever have the privilege of hearing few. Femme? The fuck? Will ever have the privilege of hearing such avant-garde work. You utter a few oohs and ahs, feigning interest to conceal your perplexity. What does a human resource company have to do with ruining musicians' careers? And how could Abuya be employed, let alone alive, during the birth years of rock and roll? He's not that old, is he? Before you can scrutinize the man's non-existent wrinkles, he promptly clears the stray documents from his desk, making space for a repulsively familiar sheet of paper. Your loathsome fucking resume laid bare for the world to gawk at. God, you're sick of seeing that thing. Abuya interlaces his fingers, pale eyes darkened into a severe stare. You suddenly find yourself keenly aware of just how dangerous the man could be should he choose to embrace violence over verbal repartee.
Samogeto.
Time to begin our little interview. I'll be asking you a series of questions. Some will appear rather peculiar, others rather innocuous. They may be difficult to answer at times, as you've not been made fully aware of your position, nor of Smirnoff Corp's company goals. However, I still request that you provide honest and instinctive responses regardless of context. It'll give us a better idea of the role you'll be assigned during your time among us. Wait, you have to ace the interview before being told about the job you're applying for? What a mess. Either Smirnoff has an unintuitive hiring process, or their non-disclosure agreements are so incestuously interwoven, no one can get any work done without being strangled to death by red tape. Still, Abuya's words make one thing clear. The only way you'll get hired and earn a salary to pay the rent you owe is by acing this goddamn interview, no matter what it takes. Sure, give a firm nod and reassure you'll be honest. Abuya chortled with satisfaction. The sound... No, sorry. Okay.
Notice amini.
Wonderful. Let's get
Home
started.
baden.
Question 1. A runaway locomotive is barreling down a set of railroad tracks at an uncomfortable speed. In its path, okay, but that's a trolley problem. 5 people tied down and unable to move. If nothing is done, the locomotive will surely crush them and end their lives in an instant.
Notice amini.
You stand in a train yard next to a large level. You know that if you pull it, the locomotive will divert its course into a separate track. However, this will cause it to crush a different person who is also tied down to an alternative route. How do you ensure all 6 people escape this tragedy alive? You don't. Well, that's not quite the "where do you see yourself in 5 years" shtick you're used to. How the hell are you supposed to respond? Assuming you can operate the lever, you might also know how to remotely trigger the emergency brakes. You run fast and have deft hands untie everyone before the train arrives. Dodge the question by discussing other ethical conundrums and how they expose moral biases. Well, as usual, I would have in these situations, I have a more of a middle answer. I don't think you can untie everyone, but if you divert the path to kill one person, you can maybe manage to untie one person? But that's not the answer. So I'm gonna choose the first one. Assuming you can operate that lever, you might also know how to remotely trigger the emergency brakes. You're not exactly the foremost authority on train yard technological advances, but you're pretty sure conductors have developed multiple automated and manual failsafes specifically to prevent cartoonish catastrophes like these. If not, you have $1 million idea to pitch.
Tome Baden.
That's an impressive, refreshing answer. Although, to be candid, many representatives in other departments would strongly disagree with your technology based solution. The tweet behemoth gestures to the yellowing documents strewn about his desk, and the bubbles at its corner. All of them appear ancient enough to have been stolen from an unsuspected museum's oldest
Kudo
shelves.
Mijaji.
Smyrna Corp was built upon a simple idea that humankind's potential must not become entrapped by progress. False promises of privacy. Efficiency is no excuse to discard anonymous practicality. Our old hat philosophies and reliance on archaic devices have kept this company on the path to success for decades. But the world is changing, and we cannot remain blind to the additional insights technology can provide.
Gabona Kimo.
After all, how can we think outside the box if we lack the tools to grasp how big the box has become, especially in our ever so chaotic digital era? You're not quite sure how to respond to that, let alone how it applies to human resources, but you still managed to stammer out some words of agreement which hopefully imply you were thinking the same thing.
Kudo Mijaji.
Ooh. Now, moving on right along to question 2. Could you kindly rephrase your greatest flaw so that it sounds like your greatest strength?
Ajobonica.
Could you? Guys? Be advised, I do not want to hear any of that cowardly "I'm too much of a perfectionist" or "I'm a huge workaholic" claptrap most folk used to make themselves sound flawless. I want a proper blameworthy weakness reconfigured into a proper praiseworthy strength, understood? The behemoth leads forward, and the room darkness looms with him. Both close in around you, like the walls of a solitary confinement cell or the rope of an eager hangsman noose. Better think of something good. You browse social media during work hours, but it keeps you updated. No. You spend too much time chatting with coworkers, but it helps you understand them and cooperate effectively. You often try solving problems with brawn, not brains, but you're in great shape, so it works out. I'm gonna go with the second. Wars waged with unmastered weapons are doomed to fail. Sun Tzu said that, you think, or maybe it was World War One general. Or the hero from that Kung Fu movie you watched as a teen. Point is, swapping gossip doesn't just provide drama, it reveals what your teammates are truly
Tome
capable
Baden.
of. That, I must confess, is an exceptional response.
Ajobonica.
To work as Smirnikov is to plunge into the very fabric of human psychology and unravel every thread of it on a daily basis. Understanding who people are, their wants, needs, aspirations is integral to helping them become the people that they should be. And no one can achieve such understanding by working alone. Therefore, extending that same level of consideration to one's colleagues is an extremely wise initiative to augment our efficiency. Impressive stuff for a new recruit. Who would I say? I'd say that You know, I shouldn't have muted the mic because I think that would have been much funnier if I said I'd say that achoo. Um um I'd say something about my emotional openness um keeps me something like passionate about my work, and you know what, I'm not in this condition to answer this question. Something along these lines. Something to make my over emotional investment into my work and depression sound like a plus something. Future Camilla can answer this question, not the present one. The man gestures with theatrical flourishes as he makes the declaration, but his conviction sounds too genuine to come off as arrogant. You conceal a satisfied grin, picturing how spectacular the man's water cooler small talk must be.
Gabona Kimo.
Now then, onward to our final inquiry. Regarding to your schooling, I would like for you to, well, if you could just explain the, goodness, how do I phrase this delicately? The behemoth's word trail into muttered mumbles. His velvet thunder voice degrading into something more akin of a bumblebee stuck in a big dog's mouth. His blue eyes dart between you and the paper, underwhelming bullet points with increasing disgusted concern. As though finally noticing what kind of unemployable aberration has stepped into the building. It's unfortunately a common reaction for anyone who reads your resume. Singers on the record players shout a loud suggestion to just call the whole thing off. Their advice, for better or worse, goes unheeded.
Samogeto.
Well, at the risk of sounding insensitive, I truly appreciate some insight regarding your academic background. How do you believe a workplace of our nature could benefit from hiring someone with such a dubious, incompatible education? You begin sweating bullets, big bullets, the kind of caliber robot cops must use in action movies from the 80s. Of course, it was going to come down to this. No matter how dearly you wish it were possible, you can't magically go back in time and study something more prestigious for today's job market, but you might be able to describe your weird diploma in a way that makes a strikingly employable impression. Okay, so you studied computer science. Your skill with technology is old and new. That's a legitimate thing. You studied child psychology. You're good at reading people and creating emotional rapports. That is also a legitimate thing. You studied ultimate frisbee, the apex of education for any teamwork-loving athletic superstar. You know what? For the fuck of it, I'm gonna answer that one. Because at least if we're talking about that his resume makes him like unemployable, this is the only one that actually like sounds like it. Everyone said this choice of major was stupid, inglorious, embarrassing, a premature career suicide that could only prove useful at a rowdy picnic. But the memories of the team you built and the physical skills it helped you master are irreplaceable, and they come in handy more often than people suspect. You try to convey the depth of these feelings to a perplexed Mr. Burgard. Instead, you mostly end up flaunting how well your fellow disc flingers were able to work together and showing off the gnarly scar on your knee, earned by taking a bad fall during a game-winning catch. Despite your not-so-humble bragging, the tweed behemoth looks rather impressed.
Gabona Kimo.
You'll beg my pardon for judging the proverbial book by its cover, friend. I'm not sure I've ever had anyone dispel my doubts so thoroughly or swiftly before.
Kudobijaji.
Your background certainly isn't conventional, but it clearly demonstrates your competence in cooperating with diverse individuals to accomplish a common goal and in optimizing their respective skills. In a workplace like ours, this is a highly coveted trait. Most of all, your story tells me you aren't afraid of rigorous effort, nor does pain dissuade you from reaching goals. That's very good, you know? Very good indeed. Is it? You're glad someone finally grasped the transcendental glory of ultimate frisbee. But what kind of basket case office expects you to suffer bodily injury just to get paperwork done on
Gabona
time?
Kimo.
Anywho, I believe that concludes our questionnaire for today. As for your results, I guess it just ended up evenly across the board. The man's enormous fingers crumble up your CV in a ball and toss it aside. It bounces across the wire-laden floor, disappearing into an inky corner of the abyssal room. Your chest tightens, panic swells, catastrophic scenarios and thoughts of crushing failure explode in your brain. Abuya's beaming smile diffuses them all.
Notice Amini.
To tell you the truth, the silly meeting of ours was nothing more than corporate mundane formality. Between your aunt's glowing recommendations and the fact that you show up to our office on such short notice, I knew from the very start that I'd be wanting you on board. After this discussion, I'm pleased to announce that my hunch has been confirmed, and I am most pleased to be extending you a permanent employment offer. You've never been this close to getting employed in ages. You almost expect this man to reveal it was a cruel prank this whole time. Instead, Mr. Regard chuckles, amused by your aghast
Gabona
reaction.
Kimo.
I'm dead serious, friend. In fact, you didn't just meet expectations, you exceeded them.
Notice Amini.
Our exchange has revealed that you're an individual of incredible diverse talent. Polyvalent in turn, polyvalent? Somebody tell me which one's the right pronunciation. In terms of interest and accomplishments, you're quick to adapt your methods according to the issue at hand, and able to find a path to success in almost any circumstances. In a diverse, multidisciplinary workplace like ours, such a skill is not only enviable, but downright essential. It may be true that certain challenges will require a greater degree of specialization, or that a jack of all trades is forever cursed to be a master of none. But I believe the sheer amount of options at your disposal should be enough to overcome most
Gabona
obstacles.
Kimo.
So, would you deem my interpretation of your aptitudes accurate, or have I misconstrued the content of your character? You're 100% on point. That's exactly the kind of person I am. Flattered by Obuya's appraisal, you relish in the satisfaction of having been truly seen. It's not every day you get such a precise, quantifiable breakdown of your unique abilities, especially the ultimate frisbee one. May they serve you well in tackling the horrors to come.
Ajobonica.
Good to know, very good indeed. In that case, I'll nudge administration to start producing your contract. I'll unfortunately have to remain cagey about some details, such as workplace tasks or starting salary, until that is illegal. Until all legal hoopla has been sorted, but assuming you care to accept a generous starting offer. Mr. Regard's chuckle deepens as he extends a massive hand. His blue eyes are bright with joy, his tongue hungrily running over his pure white teeth. Excuse me.
Tome Baden.
Please allow me to informally welcome you as the newest member of Smyrna Corp. I look forward to reviewing your performance. Holy shit, that's actually happening. You're going to have a job. You're going to have money. Enough of it to pay rent, keep a roof over your head, eat food, anything. Let a few tears flow and tell him just how grateful you are. Fight there, Shukrai, shaking Mr. Berger's hand. You cannot help but sniffle as you extend your hand, eyesight blurred by tears of sheer relief. Yet, even through that weeping haze, you can still see the behemoth grin, spreading like a bird, unfurling wings, more specifically, those of a rapacious buzzard, diving in to snatch a rodent with with razor-sharp talons. Instincts urge you to pull away, but the behemoth's pounce comes too quickly. Before you can possibly react, your entire hand is engulfed within a fist of the size of a ripe Cantaloupe. Almost instantly, something begins feeling terribly, terribly wrong. Despite Mr. Bergar's pure white smile, it feels as though your new boss is trying to leave you crippled from the wrist down. Knuckles crunch, folding in on each other. Metacarpals squeak and whine. Articular cartilage between them both crumble into collagen sand, but all the pain is nothing next to the sharp, stabbing agony suddenly shooting through your palm. You cry out in pain, beg Bergars to let go, fight to pry your fingers free, but the giant's grip is iron and deaf to your complaints. If anything, he squeezes harder. The needlepoint pain inside your hand sinks in even deeper. Deep enough for you to think it might pierce the whole way through. Deep enough for you to wonder if it could somehow kill you. Your jaw unhinges to let out a scream. Before a single sound comes out, though, Mr. Bergard lets you go free with an innocent sounding
Tome
oops.
baden.
Dear developers, why white? Why? Just excuse me. I like the game so far, but this is hurting me. Deary me, I was a bit too firm there, wasn't I? I beg your pardon, friend. I tend to forget my own strength sometimes. The tweed behemoth lets out an earnestly apologetic chuckle. You force yourself to chuckle back, but the laughter takes tremendous effort. It's hard to buy his excuse, no matter how believable it may be. Panicked, you palpate your palm and number fingers, searching for any scars left by the thing that was drilling through your flesh. But there's no wound. No torn skin, no deep cuts, not even mild bruising. Don't even feel the pain anymore. All you find is a single bead of bright red blood, no bigger than a pinhead. Huh? Yeah. It's too funny. Why don't you go ahead and put some clothes, form the rest of the body? But yes, I agree, that was creepy, to say the least. You wipe it away frantically, seeking what lurks beneath. It's warm to the touch and leaves a scarlet smear across your skin, like a painter's brush. Not exactly what I had in mind, but sure. Sure. Instead of legs, you could have done just a pair of pants. Yet there's no sign of where the pain came from. No wound, no scar. There could be some swelling, but it's faint enough to make us suspect the bulge isn't really there. Maybe it was all in your head? Investigate that swelling no matter how paranoid it may be. You press down hand with the tip of your thumb, searching for a lump of stiffness. Before you're sure you've spotted something, a clatter interrupts you. From one of his desk drawers, Mr. Bergars withdraws a slab of metal the size of a stovetop. At first you assume it's a tablet device, custom built to fit the Tweed's giant fingers and resist their vice-like strength, or perhaps a turntable meant for an aspiring DJ painted in drab colors. A closer look reveals something older and chunkier, made of gray aluminum and solid beige plastics. Blinking buttons, flickable switches, knobs and slides, all kinds of decorated. It's crowded surface with a clutter of interface too complex to grasp at a glance. Hi, Busby. How you doing? How's your Sunday? Me trying to give a shout out in the status. Honestly, something. Despite your fondness for outdated tech, you cannot tell what kind of machine this is, nor what purpose it's meant to serve. Your best guess is an old movie prop stolen from the studio set of a sci-fi film from 1950s, and not necessarily a good sci-fi film. Mr. Burghardt bends over to grab heaping handfuls of wires of the messy floor. Seemingly at random, he sorts through dozens of them at a time, plunging only a paltry few into his device outlets.
Ajubonica.
Now that the pleasantries are finally done with, I suggest we proceed to the evaluation portion of our exchange. That was an evaluation before? Aha, you are wondering when you're getting to that part. The behemoth appears taken aback by your expected nod, but is even more surprised by the nervousness your lousy poker face can't conceal. I'm okay. I was feeling quite tired after going to the grocery store, but I made myself ramen with veggies and brisket and a glass of wine. And now I'm feeling much better, lol. I think I was just hangry. That sounds lovely. How are y'all? Uh, great, except for I, forgot to think of wearing a face mask when I went thrifting. So I have terrible allergies because I'm allergic to dust. I will stop sneezing. But I needed to stream this game ASAP today. So here I am, struggling. And I like this game so far, I really do. But the white is hurting my eyes. I want it to stop. Allergies to dust sounds miserable. It has been for 32 years. But otherwise, I had a very good, very productive thrifting trip. Especially considering that I was gonna that when I rang up everything, it was $100, and then I found a 50% coupon in my email, and bam, $50. Bruh, my house is so fucking dusty all the time, I would simply perish. Frequent cleanings have become part of the routine since I was a child. So, but I forget sometimes how bad it can get. So, I really should have worn a mask. I low-key thought of it while leaving the house, and I was like, nah, it'll be fine. But yeah. C'est la vie. Though you were told to expect a test, you were also warned to be wary, and you're not particularly excited to find out what the machine has to do with it.
Kudobijaji.
Come on now, no need to be so agitated. I've already agreed to hire you. It's not like I'll be terminating your employment before your first probationary milestone.
Baden.
The format of this evaluation will be similar to open-ended interview questionnaire, but this time I'll be presenting intentionally confusing scenarios that most Smirnakop employees encounter during their day-to-day tasks. Your goal is to present solutions to each particular problem as you deem appropriate, regardless of how unconventional the suggested may seem. Yet again, there are no wrong answers, but I will tally your responses to determine how much supervision you'll require during
Yawona
onboarding.
Kimo.
In other words, I once more encourage your honesty over making a good impression for both our sakes. That $50 receipt sounds so satisfying though. It was. I was like, okay, I still have a subscription to Savers. I need to look. I just like typed it in, and it was like a fresh fresh coupon for May. It was like 50%. I was like, no way. I scan it and it's like, boom, $50. I was like, I should have grabbed more stuff. If I knew I had that coupon before I put away a couple of items, then I was like, okay, no. If I knew that. Which also reminds me, Sia, I didn't get you one of the green dresses because upon pre-checkout inspection, I found on the one that was spaghetti strap, not the long sleeve one, I found that that one had a few snags. And considering they were charging fucking $10 for it, I was like, I'm not paying $10 for a dress with snags. So now that I know it would have been 5, maybe. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Um, a low droning palpable hum fills the shadowy room. A light bulb hanging above you flickers, then goes dark, bathing the already dim room in night absolute blackness. Only the device's glowing buttons, reflected by the two-way mirror, provide you with any light.
Ajubonica.
Shall we get started? Can can this screen go black as well? Let's call the whole thing off. The recorder player begs you over and over again. It seems to be stuck in a place and skipping a few beats. Unfortunately, your body is also stuck in a place, petrified in your plush chair as your heart is skipping a few more beats. You give us your sore hand a tight squeeze and hope the throbbing will stop. Just begin. Mr. Bogart chuckles his teeth so wide they almost glow in the dark. You hear him whisper a single word with a deep bassy growl. Perfect. As soon as my spouse starts getting paid by his college, I really want to go thrifting to overhaul my wardrobe. It was kind of a similar thing. I want to overhaul my wardrobe because I want to move more towards more feminine pieces. Feeling like it, but also we're going to a Vampire the Masquerade LARP at the end of the month, and I was like, I really need to get some things for that. It's a 5-day event. I'm gained a little bit of weight, so I don't fit into some things that I own. So I'm like, I really need this trip. And I've been planning to go for weeks, but something would always come up. Today I was finally able to. And I think I found everything that I needed. I wish I could get something red and not just everything black, but didn't luck out with the red pieces. Your new boss's bratwurst thick finger pushed one of the machine's slider to its absolute limit. The room's bassy hum, increases in pitch and frequency.
baden.
I'll start you off with an easy one. Let's say hypothetically that you're supervising a group of employees from a different company. They hired you to isolate the source of their decreased productivity, then remedy the issue. And it does not take long for you to identify the problem. One of their staff members is extremely troublesome. The giant, pauses, uttering a tisk of irritation. It seems he wasn't supposed to specify this mystery employer's gender. When he speaks again, he enunciates slowly with more careful consideration.
Kimauhone.
This hypothetical individual has an undeniably inadequate productivity level. They never meet bare minimum expectations, they lack punctuality, disrespect their colleagues, browse unsavory websites with company property instead of dedicating their limited work hours to completing overdue urgent paperwork. Their misconduct is continuous and condemnable.
Ajubonica.
The employee has been given multiple warnings and provided with opportunities to improve their performance. Both have either failed or been ignored. The client is contemplating firing the problematic worker, but are concerned that becoming understaffed during an especially critical moment of this fiscal quarter could jeopardize their important deadlines. What do you think should be done to reestablish the client's baseline productivity? I don't know if I had child psychology specialization. Okay, it took you so long to find a job. Firing someone would make you sick. Give them one more chance. This person should be laid off regardless of deadlines. They harm more than they can help. I agree. Install software on their computer that limits access to non-work websites. 2 or 3. You know what? Let's be nice. Let's go 3. If the employee is just compulsively texting and web surfing, why not cut the problem off at the source? Most office networks limit access to undesirable content nowadays, so it can't be that hard to set up. Plus, it'll prevent future staffers from indulging the same habit. Though your internet based solution might be complicated to implement in a workplace that relies on refurbished typewriters, a boy's blue eyes bulge with admiration, his lips curling into an epiphatic ooh.
Notice Amini.
This is exactly why I keep telling upper management we need fresh thinkers in the office. The perspective we bring to the table aren't limited by our old hat ideologies and are much more in tune with our planet's current digital landscape. That's why the upcoming deal with Radium Inc. won't just improve our technical infrastructure, it'll improve our technical literacy and technical imagination.
Gamona Kimo.
Furthermore, I love that the core of the strategy essentially relies on imposing discipline through ignorance and obfuscation, which are techniques Smyrnacarp values dearly. After all, how can slaves ever think to disobey if they were only allowed to learn obedience? Excuse me? You're not sure you enjoy that comparison. Yet, as if emphasizing his point, the giant fiddles with this antique device, myriad buttons and knobs in a series of complex operations. Obuya completes his complex mechanical operation with a flourish of flashing lights and a sequence of high-pitched beeping. The machine noises are loud but not startling, not compared to the other sound. Uh-oh. It's faint at first, muffled, maybe distant. Subtle enough to make you wonder if it's part of the record player tune. But the longer you listen, the more unmistakable it becomes. Someone somewhere is screaming! It's coming from across the glass! Hold your breath and wait for the scream to rise up again. But there's only record player music. Music and white noise buzz of Bergar's machine as he ahems you back to attention. Oh, brace yourselves.
Kudo Mijaji.
If you're in need of a restroom, I can point you in the right direction. Otherwise, I'd ask if you please complete this evaluation with a smidgeless fidgeting. It negatively impacts our tool's acoustics, you see. It's like he didn't even hear it. Was the scream inside your head? Just like the pain in your hand from before? Or maybe... Yeah, pretend nothing has happened. You hold your tongue, unwilling to disrupt the tool's acoustics any further. Besides, strange things have been happening ever since you set foot in this building, and everyone's been acting like it's completely normal. There's probably nothing wrong. Right? Abuya flips another switch. The room's buzzing shifts to a frequency so oddly low you feel it sending ripples through your organs. The giant gestures her way with stippled fingers, further disturbing your unsettled
Gamona
guts.
Kimo.
Now, let's say, still, hypothetically speaking, that our problem employee has a more specific shortcoming. He is utterly unwilling to cooperate with one of his coworkers. Perhaps it's a matter of long-standing interpersonal friction originating from external source. Maybe there is an irreconcilable difference between them in terms of morals, political, or religious beliefs.
Tome Baden.
Regardless of the exact circumstance, our floundering staff has proven themselves incapable of playing of playing nice with their high-performing teammate. This has resulted in a severe decline in both their productivity levels. Knowing we cannot relocate the problem employee to a new department nor displace their high-performing partner, how do we ensure the former collaborates with the latter, despite the deeply rooted discord between them? The fucking ultimate frisbee specialization, I cannot. High performance doesn't prove innocence. Maybe the bad employee is being sabotaged. Success should be rewarded and failure punished. Fire the problem employee. Principles are learned, not biologically dictated. Teach them new values better suited to a workplace. Organize team building activities. Ultimate Frisbee taught anyone can work in sync. Yes, the Ultimate Frisbee. I am so fucking going with this Ultimate Frisbee specialization. Let's fucking go. More than once, you met athletes who would have been bitter enemies, if not for the unifying power of disc tossing, a common goal that rewards cooperation is a powerful motivator and allows people to discover lifelong friends they would never encounter outside the battlefield of Ultimate Frisbee. Your new boss, bright white smile twinkles with tremendous satisfaction. He tweaks his device knobs with giddy abandon.
Hydroponica.
Team spirits like yours is a dying breed. I'm glad to see your atypical academic background is already proving useful. You see, Smyrna Corp management shares your opinion of the virtues of collaboration. That is why we enforce mandatory enrollment in after-work activities ranging from seminars to social gathering. And while there's no compensation offered for what is technically overtime, these events are essential for the collective monitoring of our staff's mental well-being, not to mention the correction of more widespread issues, like excessive reliance on non-workplace friendships or the consumption of media whose values don't match the company.
Tome Baden.
Sounds like a abuse of isolation. After all, why coerce only one person to behave more cooperatively when you coerce several dozens at a time? It's a no-brainer when it comes to cost-cutting. Before you can ask the interviewer what the hell he means, another sound reaches your ears. It's not a person scream this time, but neither is it vinyl stew, nor machine hum. Rather, it resembles a dull, well-rhythmic thud. Once, twice, thrice you hear it, a little louder, every time. Your eyes dart about the room, looking for the noise source. You find it staring back at you from across the two-way mirror, begging to be let out. Your mouth goes dry as it hangs open. Your finger shakes as you start to point. Then, without a word of warning, the thudding suddenly stops. All that remains is silence, and a message written in scarlet smears. A cry for help, no one can answer. Oh, fuck, I missed that. You see a handprint of a blood-stained palm slapping against the looking glass. Oh, damn, I missed that one part. Aboya looks over his shoulder, seeing the red stain. You wait for him to react, to grasp, or even scream. All he does is harumph at it, annoyed.
Bonne calle.
I really need to put more pressure on that janitor. The soundproofing in here has been unacceptable as of late. With more grouchy grumbling, he tweaks a couple of his device knobs as if nothing's happening. I think he's doing that. I love when employers straight up admit to wage theft. a literal weekly occurrence at my job. Oh, what do they make you do for overtime? For unpaid overtime? Then, sorry, noticing your aghast expression, he furrows his brow, not with concern but with
Gamona
confusion.
Kimo.
Is something the matter? You know what? Sure. I've been acting way too normal about this. What's going on back there? What kind of evaluation is this? Your voice cracks as you shout, but Obuya appears unperturbed, bored even. Perhaps disappointed at your lack of calm. I figured. Reluctant or perhaps defeated, the man provides a brief, albeit unpleasant explanation.
Onekaye.
As stated previously, contractual obligations prevent me from revealing classified company details. However, I assure you, this is all standard Smirnocar procedure. Now please control yourself until said procedure is complete, or I'll have to contain your outbursts by any means I deem appropriate. I don't like the sound of that. I'll play along. I want to live. Terrified of ending up like the person across the glass, you scrunch up your lips shut and silently pray, this meeting will end with your life intact. The tweeted behemoth applauds your wisdom with an ever-widening smile. I'm scared of this man.
Notice Samini.
I don't work unpaid OT because I'm salaried and I don't let myself work over 40 hours if I can avoid it, lol. But my job is partly to make our clients comply with timekeeping laws, and the amount of people who straight up are like, we've never had to do that before. It's a decade-old regulation is wild. Oh yeah, I can fucking imagine. I can so fucking imagine. Excuse me. Wonderful! I'm thrilled you're willing to be so cooperative despite these distractions. Now, regarding the conclusion of our conjectural conundrum.
Tome Baden.
Let's say, and I cannot stress this enough, that our aforementioned staffer is hypothetically assigned to contain a major data breach. One with consequences that could spell disaster for their company and coworkers alike. The sensitive nature of this task requires them to exterminate or indefinitely debilitate any individuals who have witnessed this leaked information so that they become incapable of further dissemination. In this case, the information has only been accessed by two people: the employee's spouse and their prepubescent offspring.
Notice Samini.
Needless to say, our employees are reluctant to perform their duty and exterminate these individuals. However, if either family member remains alive, the company stands to lose everything. Furthermore, should they refuse to tie up these proverbial loose ends, you will be required to do so in their place, as outlined in your Smirnoco contract. In short, how do you ensure these targets perish as intended, and that this data breach remains contained regardless of this problematic employee hesitation? What the actual fuck? Beg the employee to go through with it. Killing those two people could save hundreds. If it really is a matter of life and death, you'd kill those people yourself. What the fuck? No one should kill their family to bury company secrets. There has to be a better way. Yeah, sorry about that. As you stammer your undignified answer, Mr. Regard's expression goes from jolly to deadpan faster than you can blink. He fiddles with his instrument setting with a disappointed frown. Indifferent to your pleading.
Samogeto.
Normally, I'd applaud any employee willing to consider better ways of doing things around here, but I sense you're less interested in optimizing your duties and more concerned with avoiding them. Frankly, if this is how you react to a hypothetical version of this scenario, I loathe to imagine your reaction when actually confronting the situation in the workplace. You'll need to learn how to perform under pressure around here, and fast. Drumming upon a few more buttons and eliciting a few more beeping noises, your manager's expression shifts somewhat as the strange machine monitors display your evaluation
Notice
final
Amini.
score. Well, this is genuinely impressive. I had high hopes for you, but this exceeds even those anticipations by considerable leaps and bounds. Most of our employees need months, if not years, of training to properly optimize our procedure while foregoing all ethical concerns. For you to demonstrate such dedication to efficiency without need for orienteering, that tells me you're destined to accomplish great, terrible things in this company. Why, I barely had to make adjustments to your doppelganger engineering suggestions. Excuse me? Doppelganger? Unfazed by your panic bafflement, Mr. Burgard reaches for a nearby candlestick phone. The mouthpiece, realistically macabre. Mi scusi. Unfazed by your panic bafflement, Mr. Burgard reaches for a nearby. The macabre wristing bad design makes it feel like he's clutching a live pipistrel and showing it against the cavern that is his giant
Notice
mouth.
Amini.
We're done here. You can show them out. You can show them now. On the other end of the line, a reply is chirped. Abuya hands you the phone and motions you to listen in. His pure white smile looks white enough to tear his cheeks at the seams. Accept the phone. You gingerly seize the occult antique. It takes you a few tries to grasp how the winged mammal is meant to be held, and even longer to hold the piece to your head. By the time you figured it out, you wish that you hadn't. The two-way glass at the back suddenly turns transparent, revealing yet another room filled with aesthetic contradictions and logical anomalies. Your first urge is to scream, but your voice makes no sound. Perhaps your cries are deafened by whatever the fuck is going on. You stand before what seems to be a hospital operating room. Its walls are adorned with a mix of dark wood panels and mounted stag heads, bathed in the sterile glow of circular fluorescent lamps. At the far back, you see the silhouettes of two surgeons toiling away behind a curtain, carving apart the skull of their fully conscious, unsedated patients. You want to look away, but you can't even blink. There's too much to take in. There's the patients themselves. They almost look like twins. Both have been tied down with belts to their surgical tables. Both are men with tan skin, furrowed brows, and bloodshot stares. Both have the tops of their heads partially concealed by curtains, where the surgeon's silhouettes prod their scalps with forceps. Only one of them is screaming, as though death would be a mercy. There's the surgeon's tools. Blood-stained aprons hang from wooden coat racks, while stainless steel surgical trays contain an assortment of gruesome devices: bone saw, hand-crank drills, and strangely hairy bone-white bowls glistening with dark red. Your stomach gurgles upon realizing they are the sliced-off tops of human skulls. There's a television hanging from the ceiling. Boxy Technicolor units have been suspended above each patient's head. Their crackling screens blast them with an unrelenting montage of childhood video footage, warbled ECG readouts, brain scans, and news network broadcasts. Each man's eyelids are held open by metallic speculums, denying them the privilege of looking away. And there's the woman taking notes. She stands with her back to you, jotting down the observations on clipboard as she studies each victim's distinct reaction. Though her shoulders are shaking, she writes with a steady hand. Where the fuck am I? The muffled sound of saws slicing through the bone threatened to make you throw up, but instead you feel your heart sink deep into the pit of nausea and realize something truly chilling. You recognize the two people in that room. Look closely at the patient. Though his face is warped by fear and pain, there is no mistaking the angry stranger from the waiting room. And from across the two-way glass, he recognized you as well. I fucking knew that when they were talking about the troublesome individual, they were talking about the guy. I fucking knew it. His shrieks turned into subchoke pleas, his voice a feral shadow of the coarse drawl it once was.
Temoku.
You, please, tell them I'll change. Tell them I'll do better. Just don't tell them... Just don't let them replace me. Melusine, I'm begging you. You can't do this to me. I have a His words are cut off by gurgling spasms, eyes rolling back into their sockets as the surgeon's silhouette behind him cuts something inside his head. Blood and brain matter splatters the curtain, hiding the worst of the scene. But sounds of squelching meat and bones still carry over the receiver. Yet, it's the other calmer patient's voice that truly makes you nauseous. He doesn't just look like Emiliano, he sounds like him. Exactly like him. You, please, tell them I'll change, tell them I'll do better, just don't let them replace me. The look-alike face remains impassive, even as his exposed brain is prodded at with a hand-cranked drill. Yet the imitation of this neighbor's blood-curdling cries is perfect. Every nuance, every pause for breath, reenacted down to the finest detail. Better than any audio recording you could ever imagine. More immaculate, a simulacra than any man or machine should ever be capable of. It's so perfect, in fact, that you're no longer certain which one is the real Emiliano. Hey, Melusine. How was that? Am I laying the accent on too thick?
Poketami?
Seems fine to me, but, I'd, recommend letting your voice crack once in a while. It's been known to happen when Mr. Aguilar is heavily inebriated, and considering his drinking disposition, this particular nuance will come up quite frequently. Gotcha, I'll give it another try. Hey pal, can you give me some fresh materials to rehearse? You're all a bunch of psychos, motherfucking heartless psychos. Emiliano sobs and howls himself raw, retching as the surgeon hacking his cerebellum induces full body spasms. The other Emiliano merely clears his throat before howling viciously. You're all a bunch of psychos, motherfucking heartless psychos. How about that? Bit better?
Poketami?
Considerably. I'll notify the post-op technicians to implant a few more speech impediments, inducing memories, and apply brain damage relative to Mr. Aguilar's alcoholism. That should iron out the last neurophysical kinks. The other Emiliano gives him a firm thumbs up, leading back to enjoy his lobotomy with his lackadaisy indulgence of an expert barber's scalp massage. Melusine turns to face the glass, her white smile pulled painfully taut. She looks at you with tears and mascara streaking down her face, her grin seeming to cause more pain than either patient's cerebral
Pasa
surgery.
comer.
Was there anything else you needed to see, Mr. Bogart?
Notice a mini.
No, thank you, dear. That'll be all. Just wanted a new hire to get a better idea of daily grind. Oh, but do let me know if we need to make adjustments to mediatic nutrition, will you? I'll be on standby. With a curt nod, the receptionist turns her back. You hear a click, then a dial tone, and the phone's ceaseless screaming abruptly cuts off. Across the glass, Emiliana thrashes with all his might. The sound of his screeching muted once again.
Notice a mini.
So, what do you think? What do I fucking think? Kinda wanna do this, I'm not gonna lie. But they'll probably kill me too if I do that. Demand your boss explain what the hell's going on. Mr. Bogart flinches as you let out an anguished scream, but he doesn't seem startled, let alone afraid. You mostly get the impression that he's baffled by the sheer stupidity of your question. He repeats it slowly, as though making sure he heard
Gabona
correctly.
Kimo.
What we're doing? Why, what we always do at Smyrna Corp, of course. We're replacing problem members of society with a custom-trained, lab-raised actors that will live more efficient lives in our target places. It's our company's foolproof, flawless, and highly exclusive human resource
Oh, me
solution.
baden.
And what's more, we're performing today's process all according to your specifications. I knew it. Your specifications, you had nothing to do with this. Unperturbed by your protests, Bergard's motions to the silhouetted surgeons currently picking at both Emilian's wet and naked
Gabona
genitals.
Kimo.
First, as standard procedure, we have our doppelgangers undergo extensive surgeries. This ensures their size appearance matches their targets. However, we also perform highly precise, natural excisions and hormonal dosings sessions to ensure both the replacement and replacee have identical synaptic pathways. This means they'll ensure the same tastes, reflexes, and handicaps wherever applicable.
Gabona Kimo.
Furthermore, as per your suggestion, I've encouraged our surgeons to physically excise all sections of the brain unrelated to workplace performance. Oh, motherfucker. I'm not entirely sure if that's how those so-called firewalls are supposed to work for computers. That's not how. But either way, our doppelgangers should only know obedience and thus never disobey. After completing his bleak announcement with a showman's tone, the giant points to the device on his desk. The myriads of cables run along the floor and worm their way through slits in the two-way glass, connecting to the flashing television hanging above the patient's
Kudobijaji.
facade. Next, we bombard our subject with doctored historical information and falsified childhood memory footage to rewrite their lived experience. This will erase problematic attitudes and induce more desirable
Notice
proclivities. Following your advice, I decided to perform this mediatic recognition with both the original individual and their replacement side by side, so that we can absorb the result of each altered memory on their psyche in real time. Thus, our employees have been working as a team, contributing towards the common goal of building a better doppelganger. Beautiful stuff, I say. With an emphatic flourish, Abuya tweaks another one of his machinery mini knobs. A television screen flickers, replacing his gruesome slideshow of warfare footage with pictures of pastoral farm. The louder Emiliano squirms and screeches. Finally, the sweet behemoth nods to Melusine, whose eyes glance between both her patients, taking notes whenever one of them imitates the other. The two are becoming increasingly impossible to tell apart.
Kudobijaji.
The last, but not least, Miss Saint Science arguably has the most important task of all, quality assurance. You see, our procedure is human, not mechanical. Instinct trumps algorithm when it comes to understanding people. Thus, it's imperative for staffers with an eye for social cues to study the effects of non-sedated lobotomies, particularly during back-and-forth exchange between target and replacement. This allows us to adjust mediatric nutrition quickly and to identify overlooked flaws in body language, voice modulation, or personality. All this ensures our doppelgangers perform their jobs
Come
correctly.
baden.
In other words, she'll be ensuring that the least one of these Aguilaras exterminates their family members correctly. Miss Saint Science is a woman who comes up with solutions, you see, not excuses. Holy shit, he wasn't lying. You may not have pulled the trigger, but you did help him load the gun. As you reel from the weight of revelation, Abuya holds up 3 fingers. One by one, he curls them
Notice
down.
amidi.
Physical rewiring, psychological reconditioning, social integration, they are the pillars upon which Smirnikov's substitution service are built. In my line of work, it's not just called human resources, it's human capital management. Finally, someone understands how fucking dystopia that is. This game gets it, lol. Apparently! Jesus Christ. This is how we guarantee that tens of thousands of doppelgangers currently deployed in the public perform exactly as they must. It's how our company has controlled the course of human civilization for years upon years, steering it in whatever direction our executives deem right. It's how the right people have shown up at the right times in the right places. How the wrong items or ideas have never appeared at inopportune occasion. And it's how you will help us do our job, regardless of which department you are ultimately
Kudobi
assigned to.
jaji.
So, are there any further questions about your new job responsibilities? No! Why the hell is Smirnikov doing this to people? Mr. Bogovic's expression darkens with disappointment. It appears their lack of imagination offends the man. His ensuing condescension is so extreme it prickles your skin with goose flesh and raises your blood pressure to all new
Kimao
heights.
hone.
Why do you think we do this? What reasons are there to do anything other than achieving control or acquiring capital? It's the only reason you agreed to interview, isn't it? Frankly, our motives are just that simple, friend. The only difference is that Smirnikov seeks to control the tides of civilization itself, not to wade about the paddling pools those civilization built for themselves. The tweed behemoth spreads his arms, taking up a dramatic stance. His muscular limbs cast a vast, all-consuming shadow, much like the one his company must cast over the
Gabona
world.
kimo.
Ah, boy. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna finish it here because I need to submit it by the end of the day, which means I have 18 minutes to do that. But this is something. Let me know if you want me to continue this game. This is definitely an interesting piece of art. I liked it. I would have liked it more if it would, without the. Honestly, the white thing is my biggest complaint. I'm also not in the greatest state to stream this game today, but that is going to be all for today.